Welcome to the deep dive. You know, if you follow the NFL, it often feels like controversies boil down to two things. What actually happened on the field, and then what did the league decide the player intended to happen? Today, we're going to tear apart a pretty recent high-profile incident. It involves Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice.
That's right. There was this specific penalty, a taunting call, back in Week 8 against the Washington Commanders.
Exactly. And the sources we've looked at detail this whole thing. A flag was thrown. I mean, it looked really bad on the broadcast. But then the league decided not to fine him. So our mission today is to kind of dissect that ruling. What was the specific evidence? What was the shield, really, that let the league basically overturn what seemed like obvious intent?
Yeah, and this is a great case study, actually, in how rules enforcement works. Because you've got the initial flag, right, that's based on the action, the immediate perception on the field. But then the league fine review, that's more like well, the judicial process.
Right.
It uses context, video evidence. So for you, the listener, figuring out what let Rice's story win out over that initial pretty negative media storm, it really shows the power of getting all the details, finding that key angle.
Okay, so let's unpack the play itself. We're talking about the Chiefs' win over the Commanders, 28-7. Rice finishes a play, he's running upfield, and he tosses the football. But the toss ends up hitting the Washington safety, Quan Martin, right in the helmet. Bang! Flag comes out instantly. Taunting.
And the reaction, I mean, it was immediate.
Yeah.
And loud. Because you have to remember the context here.
Yeah.
This wasn't like totally out of the blue. Our sources confirm Rice and Martin, they were visibly jawing at each other right before this toss happened, like immediately after the previous tackle.
Okay, so there was lead up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you put those two things together, the argument, then the ball hitting the opponent's head. The first thought is, okay, this is retaliation, it's aggression. It's got to be taunting.
Yeah, it definitely looked like an escalation at the time. And we all know the NFL is, well, super sensitive about taunting right now. They seem to have almost zero tolerance for anything that looks like showing up an opponent. And they hand out fines for this stuff all the time, even if a ref somehow misses it on the field. So when that flag hit the turf, basically everyone, all the media conversation just jumped straight to, okay, how much is Rice going to get fined? Not if, but how much?
It really felt like a done deal, a foregone conclusion. But this is where the process itself, gets interesting and where the sources give us insight. We need to talk about why the league reviews these plays, especially taunting calls, and what they're actually looking for. It's not just about confirming the ref's call.
That's interesting. So tell us a bit about that mechanism. I mean, if a referee throws a flag for taunting, isn't that usually enough? Don't they just levy the fine based on that? What kind of review do these plays actually get?
No, not automatically. The flag basically just puts the play on the review list. Every single play they could potentially draw a fine, flagged or not, gets sent to the league office. They've got people whose job it is to watch all the angles. And for taunting, they're looking for specific things. Did the player engage in baiting or taunting acts or demonstrations aimed at an opponent? And the crucial part is determining intent. Was it accidental? Was it reckless? Or was it malicious. Malicious intent towards an opponent. That almost always gets a fine.
Okay, malicious versus reckless. That's a key distinction.
Right, a reckless act might still get you the flag on the field, but maybe, just maybe, not the fine from the league office.
Okay, so now here's the twist. Despite the flag, despite all the talk, despite how bad it looked, when the NFL released the list of fines for Week 8, Rashee Rice, not on it. His name was nowhere to be found.
Completely absent. The league reviewed it and essentially said, nope. No fine necessary here.
Which is a pretty big reversal, right? They basically agreed that whatever happened didn't meet the standard for a monetary penalty.
A major reversal.
Okay, wait. I have to jump in here. Because this is Rashee Rice we're talking about. This isn't just any player. He's already under a microscope, right? After pleading guilty to those felony charges from the street racing incident last year, that led to his 6-game suspension earlier this season.
Heavy scrutiny.
So if anyone throws a ball that hits the defender in the head right after they were arguing, I mean, Rice feels like the last guy the league would just take at his word, He doesn't exactly have a lot of benefit of the doubt right now.
That's absolutely the right point. And it shows the pressure the league was likely feeling to get this particular ruling right. The optics, as you said, they screamed intentional taunting.
So what was his defense, and why on earth did the league buy it?
Well, his defense was surprisingly simple and consistent. He was actually seen on the sidelines talking to Coach Andy Reid right after it happened, explaining himself. And later, he told reporters the same thing.
Okay, so what did he say happened?
He basically claimed mistaken target. Innocent mistake. His line was, I was trying to throw the ball to the ref. He put his hands out for the ball.
Hmm. That sounds plausible, I guess. But it also sounds like maybe the easiest excuse in that situation. Given his history, why wouldn't the league just fine him anyway? Maybe not for taunting, but for something like, I don't know, reckless action or conduct detrimental, just to manage the image.
They could have, perhaps, which tells you the evidence must have been pretty compelling to back up his story.
So what was it? What was the critical detail? The sources must point to something specific that swayed the league?
They do. The absolute key, according to the sources, was another camera angle, an auxiliary angle. And this angle showed, pretty definitively, that an official was standing directly behind the safety, Quan Martin, like lined up right behind his back.
Directly behind him.
Directly behind him. And crucially, that official had his hand up in the air extended, as if waiting for the ball.
Wait, seriously, so the entire decision hinged on where a ref was standing and whether his hand was up?
Pretty much exactly that.
Mm-hmm.
That one small detail, the ref's position and his raised hand, it just completely flipped the script. Suddenly, Rice isn't aiming for Martin's head. He's aiming for the ref's hand, which happens to be right behind Martin's head. It changes the act from targeted aggression.
To just bad aim, accidental collateral damage.
Precisely. It takes away the malicious intent needed for the taunting fine.
Wow. That level of detail in the video review, finding that specific angle, it's kind of astonishing. And it completely changes the interpretation. Okay, that makes sense now, why there was no fine.
Huge difference. From premeditated act to just, well, an errant toss in the heat of the moment.
So if we connect this sort of judicial win for Rice back to the bigger picture, this non-fine, it feels extra significant for him right now, given everything else he's dealing with.
Oh, absolutely. Getting a clean slate here was crucial. Imagine if he had been fined for taunting. That would have been a huge negative story, especially coming so soon after his suspension ended. You have to remember, Rashee Rice is still very much trying to rebuild his narrative, right?
Yeah.
Every little thing he does, on or off the field, it gets magnified right now.
And yet somehow, on the field since he's been back, he's been incredible, really focused. Despite all the outside noise, the sources are calling it a hot start. He basically walked right back in and reclaimed his spot as Patrick Mahomes' top receiver target.
His focus seems really dialed in. He missed a lot of time, remember, not just the suspension, but he also had that season-ending injury early in the 2024 season. But his production since coming back, it's been undeniable. What is it? Through just the 2 games since he returned.
Yeah, the stats are impressive. 16 catches, 135 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Those are elite numbers, especially for someone coming back from that kind of adversity. Just fantastic production.
And it sounds like he gives a lot of credit to his support system. He mentioned that specifically, didn't he? About how his teammates helped him stay on track during the suspension.
He did, yeah. He really emphasized the value of the locker room, the accountability there. He said something like the best thing for him was just to be around the guys. And the quote was, I got leaders in each room, even on defense, that helped me on and off the field. That's the best part about being on a team like this. You have everybody to support you.
That sounds like a really important factor, that team support. It probably helps him compartmentalize and just deliver on the field like he has been.
Seems critical, yeah, to
Totally.
handle the pressure and still produce those numbers.
Okay, so this strong performance, getting cleared on the fine, it connects directly to what the Chiefs need right now, doesn't it? They need him to keep this level of play and maybe composure going forward, especially with their next game coming up.
Definitely. They're heading into a big one this Sunday against the Buffalo Bills up in Orchard Park.
Right, the Bills matchup. That's always a tough one.
It is, and there's this really weird historical dynamic with the Bills that makes this game interesting for the Chiefs. It's like 2 different stories. In the playoffs, the Chiefs have pretty much owned the Bills recently, right? They've beaten them 4 out of the last 5 seasons in the postseason.
Yeah, they seem to have their number when it really counts.
What? The regular season, totally different story. The Chiefs have really struggled against Buffalo in their regular season meetings lately.
Struggle is putting it mildly, isn't it?
It is. The Bills have actually won the last 4 regular season games between them. Straight up beaten the Chiefs 4 times in a row during the season.
Wow, 4 straight. Okay.
So if the Chiefs want to break that streak, get a big road win, kind of reset that regular season narrative against a top AFC rival, well, they're getting another big game from Rashee Rice. His success avoiding that fine, putting up those stats, it directly impacts their chances in these crucial games.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway for everyone listening? I think this whole situation is a fantastic example of how that league review process, the judicial side, is so different from the immediate call on the field. The taunting flag itself. Probably the right call based on the action you saw a live ball hits player. But the final punishment, or lack thereof, came down to reviewing all the evidence, finding that crucial context.
It's a massive difference. The initial perception was one thing, but the final ruling, based on objective video evidence, was another. And it seems like they got it right in the end based on the rules. Which leads to maybe a final thought for you to chew on. Given Rice's recent history, all the off-field stuff, the intense scrutiny, how does the league accepting his "oops, I missed the ref" explanation set a precedent? Does it reinforce the idea that careful review trumps media pressure? Or
Hmm.
could it maybe encourage other players under fire to look for these kinds of niche technicalities to explain away questionable actions in the future? Something to think about, especially as Rice continues this high-stakes comeback season.